The man accused in the St. Matthews kidnapping and armed robbery has been found currently competent to stand trial. But as Wave News troubleshooter Alina Noakes explains, the key word here is currently.
That's right, Brian. That's because a doctor believes Armond Langford's competency can be restored through treatment, and that's what they'll aim to do over the next 2 months. Armond Langford is accused in the violent kidnapping of a woman and her kids in St. Matthews in August, where he allegedly forced her to drive him to a nearby bank and robbed it. He was caught after a manhunt. After his arrest, the Wave troubleshooters broke the news that Langford was out on shock probation from a conviction on multiple 2021 armed robberies. Both the most recent evaluation and his treatment will apply to what happens in both the old and this new case.
Mr. Langford is not currently competent to stand trial, but will further adopt the evaluator's belief that there is a substantial probability of restoring Mr. Langford to a point of legal competency in the foreseeable future, and the time allowable by law up to 360 days.
Now, just a reminder, Langford had previously been diagnosed with a severe mental illness and a suspected traumatic brain injury during consideration of his shock probation under Judge Jessica Green. He was considered high risk. Langford was supposed to be in an intensive outpatient treatment program, take all of his medication, and stay sober under a high level of supervision during that shock probation. Langford will undergo 60 days of inpatient treatment. Another competency hearing is set for May 20.